Let's talk about dogs that are possessive. Possessive dogs, if you really look at possessiveness is a dog being possessive is really not a huge deal. Animals are possessive. That's just one of the things that happens. If you look at most animals out there, if you look at the social animals, if you look at the really just about any animal out there, whether it's a bird or or a dog or a person, there is a level of possessiveness. Now, I'm not going to be talking about the bird. I'm not even going to really be talking about the person. This is a dog training channel, so I'm going to be talking about dogs being possessive. I recently talked to a client over the phone, and I spent a couple of hours talking to her about her particular dog being possessive. Now, just to give you a little bit of background on this person has a dog trainer that she's working with on site. It's somebody that she trusts, somebody who she feels has been giving her good information for the past couple of months. The dog is getting better. But it seems like one thing that maybe didn't get addressed as much is the possessiveness aspect of it. The obedience is going better. The obedience is it's going so well, but she still sees some aspects of possessiveness that don't seem to be improving too much. I'm not gonna put the blame on the trainer. I don't know the trainer. All I know is she's happy with the trainer, but she just wanted a second opinion. And this is how she found me, got in touch with me, and just gave her a bunch of very relatable information to her. Quick background on the story. Dog is about 15 months of age, right? So 15 months of age, male, intact, and it's a working dog. So one of the things that I talked to her about, which it's something that was kind of new to her, is this is a dog that is 15 months of age. This is where maturity starts to take place, right? Maturity starts to take place for males. It takes a little bit longer sometimes, but anywhere between 9 months of age or 8 months of age, all the way to about 18 months of age, this is where physically and mentally they grow up. Right? And in some cases, some dogs will act like puppies all the way until 3 years of age. So they'll be puppies for a very long time. But during that stage, between about 9 months of age to about 18 months of age, or technically between like 5 months of age all the way to 18 months of age, physically, they're going through changes, hormonal changes. There's a lot of testosterone that is going through the body. The body is developing. The testosterone is helping the dog with confidence. It's helping the dog physically mature as well. So there is a lot of hormones just that were not there when the dog was a puppy. So this a lot of times triggers some behavioral changes that you would not have seen on that dog when it was 4 months of age. Naturally, they're getting older. Right? So sometimes that change is drastic. And this is about the time where training has to really be kicked up a notch or more. A good thing she's working with a trainer, so she is headed in the right direction. And she's kind of looking for advice in the behavioral aspect. Now, the other thing that I want to address real quick is giving advice over the phone is very tricky. This is why I spent 2 hours talking to her on the phone, right? So I could get as much detailed information as I possibly can gather over the phone. I'm asking a lot of questions, sometimes even personal questions that are related to the dog, not just random personal questions to be nosy. These are questions that I told her, I'm going to be asking you some questions that maybe don't seem relatable. I promise you they will help me paint a picture, right? Like, what's your daily routine like with your dog? What's the relationship between your dog and your boyfriend, your dog and your mom? So different aspects of this dog's daily routine, I was kind of poking into all of that to get as clear a picture as I possibly could about this particular case, right? One thing I don't want to do, you don't want to do, is get a brief story and then just spit out a huge, or any sort of advice on a very quick case that you just kind of happen to hear about. Right? This is a lot of details that you want to gather. And even then, once I gathered all the information, when I was starting to talk to her and give her some suggestions and some advice, I was even still careful to let her know, this is what you're telling me, this is what it seems like, this is, kind of what is likely happening. And if that's the case, here are some strategies that will help you out with that. Okay, and I still told her, however, if you have any doubts, still ask your trainer, see if she can fill it in a little bit more, because nothing beats having somebody looking at the dog, a professional looking at the dog. So that was pretty much it, right? So the dog is 15 months of age. It's a working dog on top of that. And, and she does want to get active. She's not just a person that is irresponsible that just got this working dog and is wondering why it has so many issues. She actually is looking at sports. She has been to a protection club. She has taken the right steps to try to give this dog the best life it could. We talked about neutering the dog, right? Which is a very sensitive topic. I did not recommend the neutering. She just asked me what my opinion was. My opinion on this matter is, if you want to neuter the dog, I told her, do not do it right now. This is not the stage to be neutering the dog. This is what most people want to do. Most vets want to do that. Other trainers and relatives and friends want to do that. They'll tell you, well, obviously it's acting like this because it's intact, so you got to neuter him, and it'll get better. This is a sensitive stage right now that this dog is going through. There's a lot of hormonal changes. Neutering the dog could actually make these hormonal changes way worse, thus making the behavior way worse. I can tell you this from personal experience because I've seen it with my clients in the past, where they contacted me after the dog got neutered or spayed, at which point the dog's aggression shot over the roof, at which point the dog started gathering bite histories. And the dog just got, much more unpredictable. So these things are potentially a side effect of neutering the dog, right? Or altering the dog at a younger age or as they're developing. So I told her, I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but if you're going to do it, if you're thinking about doing it, I suggest waiting. 15 months of age is still kind of young. I suggest waiting until the dog is about 2 years of age. And by then, hopefully all these, changes will have, plus the training and the maturity will have kicked in enough for you to make that decision. But I wouldn't do it just yet, especially when these things are happening. So that's one of the things that we talked about. And obviously, another thing I told her, because the dog is being possessive, I told her, and it's being possessive with her. So it's not being possessive of things from her. It's being possessive of her. Meaning, the dog doesn't care if she reaches for the toy or the food bowl. Dog doesn't care. The dog cares when somebody gets close to her, which has made the relationship with her boyfriend a little bit strange now, because if somebody approaches her, if the boyfriend goes to approach her, even if the dog is nowhere near her, the dog will lunge at the boyfriend or other people when they get close to her. So this is resource guarding. A resource guarding case, I went over that. I broke it down in as layman's terms as I could. And I explained it to her in a way that made sense to her. But I also gave her some strategies for the resource guarding, which are, basically the hierarchy reversal, which is, hey, we're going to do some subtle things that are going to gradually, over a period of time, change our relationship. So rather than stepping on the dog, pinning the dog against the ground, hanging it, and doing all kinds of crazy things that I have seen people do, we're not going to do any of that, right? So I told her, here are some of the things that you can do. This is not going to be a quick fix. It's going to take time. So on top of the training that you're doing with the trainer, you implement these strategies over a period of time, this is going to start changing that dynamic. Right? So some of the strategies that I gave her, for instance, from now on, an open door is not an invitation to leave. All right, so basically we're implementing a lot of leadership here. Right? We're implementing a very clear sense of this is how things are done every single time. Right? So basically, I am not your property. You are mine. Now, you are my property. So if I'm your property, I know it sounds very trivial. This is one of the things I told her, right? Instead of the dog thinking, hey, I'm your property. No, it's the other way around. You are my property. That sounds like it's just a play on words, but it really isn't. When I'm your property, you might feel entitled to guard me from other people. When I am your property, you might feel entitled, maybe entitled is not the right word, but you might feel like you can make the decision to not let people get close to me. You might feel like it is your place to make the decision of, I get to talk to whoever you allow me to talk to. It's not that way. It's the other way around. You are my dog. I get to talk to whoever I want to talk to. I get to say hi to whoever I want to say hi to. I get to high five, shake hands, and do all kinds of things whenever I choose to do those things, right? So big, powerful thing to shift that mentality. And we can do this in a methodical way that does not involve, crazy, abusive, pinning on the ground, biting the dog's ears, hanging the dog, peeing on the dog, spitting on the dog, crazy types of techniques. You think I'm exaggerating, but this is actually shit that I've heard trainers say with a lot of conviction. So don't feel like, oh, come on, nobody does that. No, bullshit. People do that. Okay? I've been in this industry long enough, and I've seen a lot of trainers that to this day, with their decades of experience, still believe you got to bite the dog's ears. Still believe that you got to pee on the dog. I'm not even kidding you. I wish I was. This is dead serious stuff. Right, so rather we're going to implement these strategies. I gave her those tips. So now she is much more prepared to deal with this, and we're going to follow up sometime in the future, hopefully, and see how she does. So hopefully that gets much better. And I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys as well.